Hey guys, so after we did a live watch along for the Proteas World Cup squad, I decided today that tonight's daily show will be about Rob Walter and Temba Babuma's press conference, where they discussed the World Cup squad and the players that have been selected. So I'm going to be reacting to it live with you guys and having allowing you guys to watch it along with me, and then we can discuss it. But and that's what today's show is going to be about. So before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. We're on the route to 4,000 subscribers, so please help us get there by subscribing to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. I'd also like you guys to please uh, download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. I'll put it up on the screen right now for you. cricketfanaticsmag.com/monthly-magazine. Please go ahead and get your subscribe to it right away. And also, what I'd like you guys to please do is smash the like button. It's very important that you do so as well as you come in. And then also, please like, comment, and share. And then go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. Okay, so guys, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing and reacting to this particular press conference. And welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohideen, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. I see that you guys are saying that the audio is not that clear. So let me have a look what's happening. Okay, my mic is plugged in. So is it fine now? Um, is it working now? Let me know in the live chat. Weird. Let me know if it's working, guys. It's plugged in. Everything's plugged in. Is it working now? Let me know in the live chat, please, if it's working. I've plugged it in and put it back in again. Testing, testing, testing. Is it working fine now? Let me please know. Cool, it's working. Okay, awesome. Now I also need you guys to check with me if this is working. If you guys can hear the sound of this video when I play it. Do you guys hear sound? Is the sound clear on the video? Can you hear the video sound as well? The press conference sound. Okay, so you guys can't hear the video sound at the moment. Okay, cool. So let me find a different way how to do that. I thought that might not work. It doesn't allow me to upload it. So that's the problem at the moment because of the format, and it's a massive file. So I can't really upload it like that. So let me see if I can do it this way and play it off the browser. Mm. Okay. They we will get into it when we do the press conference, guys. Um, just trying to get it to work because I did test it beforehand, and I wouldn't have known live whether it's going to work or not until you guys were on screen, unfortunately. So let me just see if it does work. Um, Otherwise, I'll just
do something quickly so that I can make it work. Doesn't have a video track. I don't know what's going on now. Ay, ay, ay. Just so you guys know, I'm going to let you just see the World Cup squad again so long, so that you guys know what is happening. Okay, so that's the squad for the World Cup that was announced. Um, as you guys know, there were some selections that you guys spoke about on a previous show, and you weren't so happy about some of them. Um, but ultimately, we are going to do our best to win this World Cup or do well or getting out into the knockout stages, etc. So let's hope that we can do that, because that's the main thing for now, from a South African point of view, is that we do as best as we possibly can when it comes to this particular um, this particular show. Okay, so that video for some reason is not working. We are uploading it to the channel right now. I'm going to improvise and do something else instead, with regards to the press conference. We're going to still listen to it, but we're going to just have to listen to the audio file, because for some reason they've changed the audio, the format of the video, and it's a 6.7 gigabyte file. So there's nothing really I can do to really change it around quickly enough to be ready for the show, no matter what I did. um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio file for you from Rob's press conference, and we're going to listen to it together instead of watching it. Um, and we'll go through it step by step and talk about the different parts of it that stands out to us. So just give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry about the delay. I will get into it as soon as it's available. Khalid, please tell us about the traveling reserves for the World Cup. You've asked this question now twice, Siraj. We will listen to the audio and see if that was asked. Um, Alternatively, you can read the press release. You can read the press release report if the video doesn't work. There isn't really a press release, a full press release of all the comments, unfortunately. That's just how it is at the moment. um they don't release us the they don't release the quotes like the ICC do. The ICC generally, they will send us the entire quote, all the quotes with regards to that. But I have an alternative. I'm just going to download it quickly. Um, just waiting for it to load. Everything takes so bloody long. We have the digital era, and we have all of these things possible for us. But then, oh no, you know what? I've got an idea. I've got an idea. I've got an idea that I just came up with now. This will work. This will work. Let's hope this will work. I'm sure this will work. Okay. Let's do it this way. And if this does work, then you guys can really say that I'm a good improviser. I hope this works. If this works, then we are in a great space. Otherwise, I have an alternative. Don't worry. We will make it work. Okay. Let's see if this works. Okay, so share, tab. Please tell me you can hear this. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, Parnell is injured, Tabo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you
Can
so
you guys
much for
hear the
joining
presser?
us for today's press conference following the announcement of the 15-player Proteas squad for the upcoming ICC Men's Cricket World Cup, which
Bingo.
will, of course, be hosted in India
Great.
in October and November. Joining us today following the announcement of the squad is Proteas white ball head coach Rob Walter, as well as the ODI captain Temba Bavuma. Now, we do have a couple of press in the venue, so we are going to take those questions first before we hand over to those online. For those of you online, please do raise your hand if you would like to ask a question. Great, gentlemen.
Rob, let me start with you. Must have had a couple of sleepless nights. You mentioned that there will be some tough decisions, but being able to do it in a setting absolutely unique today, something different for Proteas cricket, must have been something that you guys will remember for quite a long time.
Yeah, look, it's just a privilege and an honor to be selected, right, as a player or as a coach and coaching staff to be part of a World Cup campaign. So I always really feel for the guys who didn't get selected. They've put in as much work. They've worked tirelessly just to be available. So yeah, those are the tough parts. In terms of the actual setting, yeah, I mean it's a great privilege to be part of a school that has such a strong history, but also for I think for the players to be acknowledged by the school as well, which is a treat and not something that happens every day. So the uniqueness is probably special itself.
Gerald, Gerald Coetzee, one of the new faces in the team for the World Cup. He didn't matriculate here, but he did attend the school. And you could see it was quite emotional for him being amongst the boys here this morning. And I suppose as a coach, you want to see that emotion that he brings to the game on the field during the World Cup as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gerald's at his best when he's got some fire in his belly and bowling with some emotion. So, hopefully he'll be able to remember this moment and cherish it because it is special. But maybe that gives him a little bit of extra fire, which we would definitely take. But then it's for each player in the squad to be inspired by something, for a deeper cause to be played for, and I think we have that in this team.
Okay.
Rob, how far was Parnell off the side? Was it just too much to a risk with his shoulder? Was he in contention?
I mean, again, Pani was definitely one of the tough decisions to make. For me, he would have obviously formed part of that six strong fast bowling group. But we went for Gerald in this instance purely someone who's got a little bit of extra pace in relation to Pani. So yeah, tough call and tough on him to miss out. And look, the injury is not the issue; that just sits in the background.
Okay, cool. So there, it confirms what Werner said as well, that Gerald was preferred because of the extra pace, and Pani was left out regardless of the injury. So let's continue with that.
Temba, how does it feel, or would you rather the other way around? You have a selected squad, everyone in the squad playing Australia know they're going to the World Cup. Is it better? I'm sure the ICC wanted the team list today, but now you have the players in that squad, they know they're in the squad. Is it better to take the series against Australia with the players knowing they're in the squad, the World Cup squad?
Yeah, I think for the guys in the squad, I guess there's that peace of mind to know that they'll have that opportunity to represent the country in October. Um, with that being said, and I know that the series against Australia has been seen as a build-up for the World Cup, but I think it's important that you put it into context and give it the significance that it deserves. Playing against Australia it's not something that happens every day, first and foremost. And there's a certain energy and pride that comes with this for us players when you play against Australia. So as much as we have the World Cup coming in India, but the important thing for us is to turn up for this Australia series, tick all the boxes that need to be ticked, overcome the challenges that come against playing against Australia in these conditions, and then obviously look forward to the World Cup.
Okay, not much
And
said
maybe
yet.
last one from me. What is the big focus point for you guys at the World Cup in terms of what you felt maybe you were a little bit short in previous World Cups, ODI and T20?
Yeah, looking at I think the two World Cups that I've been involved in, I know it's only T20 cricket, but I think for a large portion of those campaigns, I do believe we played good cricket. I guess going into the 50 over World Cup again, it's about playing good cricket, but it's about playing good cricket for that 5 to 7 week period. The first couple of games will obviously be important in terms of us getting that momentum, but in terms of us really getting that cohesion and synergy and flow happening within our team. I believe once we are able to do that as a team sooner than later, then anything anything can happen for this team. But yeah, I think we need to find ourselves in a space where we can play good cricket for the 5 to 7 week period.
Great. We'll look to go online. We'll start with Zahir, followed by Ken.
Hi, Rob. Just a question. Lungi Ngiri's been is included in the squad. Just how concerned are you? Obviously, hasn't played much cricket, and his form in this past T20 series, going into the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm not concerned at all, to be
Interesting.
honest. I've seen the work that Lungi's put in over the entire winter period. T20, can be brutal, and this series in particular. So I do feel there's a slightly different dynamic when it comes to 50 over cricket, and I know he'll find his feet soon enough. You know, we must be careful to look at things in isolation. So yeah, I mean, from a broader picture point of view, given what I've seen over the last few months, no real concern on my side.
So interesting that there's no concern from Rob. There is definitely concern from a lot of the fans. So that is an interesting one. But that's why I say this Australia series then is very, very, very important for Lungi to get his form, to find some form and give the fans also some confidence in his ability as well, to make them feel a little bit more at ease going into that World Cup. Yes, we got a couple of warm-up games before that, before the World Cup as well, but I think that this Australia ODI series is going to be very important for Lungi Ngidi. He's going to be one of the players that a lot of people are going to be watching throughout the series, as well as the Bray Shamsi. I think those are two names that have not been in the best of forms recently. But yes, we're talking about T20 cricket over here. That we haven't really seen much of them. For Shamsi, that's his best format between the two ODIs and T20s. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on him to play to rebuild his form in the ODI format, where he hasn't necessarily always been very consistent. And for Lungi recently, in recent times, he hasn't necessarily been in very good form. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens in this Australia series. Let's continue.
Thanks, Zahir. Ken.
Thanks, Lucy. How's it, Timber? How's it, Rob? Rob, I guess it's fair to say that you've gone largely with tried and tested guys in the squad. I know that there are a couple of very exciting young talents who have been around the squad. I guess fair to say that maybe they just didn't quite do enough to force their way into the squad. And I guess we're talking about guys like Tristan Stubbs, Deval Brevis, those sort of guys.
Yeah, look, I think inclusion is is one part of a journey, right? So you need to include young, exciting players into the environment. They get to feel comfortable, that they feel they can put their best foot forward when they do get the opportunity. Selection, sometimes doesn't happen as quickly as people want, be it players or the people watching the game. From my side, we've got essentially one backup batter in our group. You can look at whoever that might be, but those guys have been playing for South Africa. They've been playing really good cricket for South Africa. So for them to be superseded would be just unfair. And I think that's an important thing to understand about the ODI side, is they've actually been playing very good cricket for a period of time now. So hence the tried and tested names that are out there.
Okay, so
Thanks,
there
Ken.
we're hearing that again. Something that we've been hearing quite a bit from quite a few coaches in domestic cricket. I heard it at the Titans with Mandla Mashimbi when he was speaking about Deval Brevis and saying that the Titans did well and they did well the previous year. I think they won the trophy the previous year. And because those players did really well for them, he didn't feel that it was fair on the players that did well the previous season to lose their place to someone like to someone new like Deval, just because we want to quick or push his career forward. Now we're hearing something similar from Rob, saying that the ODI team has been playing really well, and he doesn't feel that it's fair on the guys that have been playing well to lose their place for someone new that hasn't basically played any ODI cricket before. So I don't know what you guys think about that. Um, so Wakas, you're asking about the squad. I'll read out the squad to you guys again now. If you missed the previous show. So the batters are Temba Bavuma, Quentin de Kock, Riza Hendricks, Aiden Markin, Hanne Klaas, and David Muller, Rassie van der Dussen. Then we've got bowling all rounders, I call them, Sasanda Magala, Marco Jansen. Marco will probably bat at 7. So he's in the batting all rounder position, but I still think he's a bowling all rounder for now. Then we've got Keshav Maharaj and Tabrei Shamsi as the spinners. Then we've got Jeru Kutsia, Lungingiri, Anik Nokia, and Kagiso Rabada as our pace bowlers. Just to give you a quick update on what the squad is. If you missed our previous show today, this morning, it was an early morning South African show. So I'm sorry to the guys that are not from South Africa that maybe missed out on that. But yeah, that is what the squad is for you guys that have missed out on it. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think of that. There's too many guys out of form, and until they make the right decisions and start by being ruthless, we won't win a World Cup. Walter is tight leech, just like Boucher was. Um, so yeah, let's continue with the press and see what else was said.
Heinz, then Tianet.
Hi Rob, hope all's well. I suppose in an ideal world, it's not really supposed to be a talking point all that much and stuff, but just the new direction you guys have gone, at national level in terms of selection autonomy, doing away with selection panels and that stuff. Are you comfortable with that model? Are you enjoying it? Because I suppose in a World Cup context, there has been a history, notably 2015, where there might have been some hitches and stuff. So are you happy and comfortable with that arrangement that you guys sort of like have autonomy as a team itself and no like extra guys weighing in?
Yeah, I suppose from a coach's point of view, yeah, it sort of does leave the onus on myself, which I'm comfortable with. But no squad or team goes selected without my skipper's involvement. I want him to be happy with the team that he has on the field and the squad that he has going to the World Cup. So he's a massive voice for me. And then as well as my staff, I don't think there's anyone who knows the players better than the coaching staff around me. So those people and their views and their inputs along the way are absolutely critical and highly valued. So yeah, as much as the final decision does, I suppose, rest with myself and Thames when it comes to a starting 11. I think there's some really cool heads amongst the group that give me different perspectives when required.
Thanks, Tianet.
How's it, Themba and Rob? Rob, just as a former fitness coach as well, I think you in a good position to answer this. With the new regulations now, that the coaches make the final call on whether a player is eligible or not, regardless of the fitness tests. Are you comfortable with that? And in the current squad, is everybody still reaching that goal of 8 minutes 30 on the 2K time trial?
So look, yeah, I mean, my sort of SNC background, I suppose, comes back to haunt me. But no, to be dead honest, for what's important for me is the amount of work that the guys put in. I think if you're doing your work daily, you'll pass the fitness test. So I don't have any worries or concerns about that. In terms of the selection resting with me, even though that might be the case, it doesn't change the fact that as a group, we're trying to be fitter, we're trying to work harder, we're trying to be in better condition. We understand the requirements for international sports. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is just get better every day, get better at what we do every day. So, yeah, as I said, I think at the end of the day, test results take care of themselves if you got the right day-to-day operating, and that's what we want to pay the most attention to.
Thanks. We can go Stu.
Yeah, I mean, let's see some of what you guys have said up until now. Harley, bro, your opinion on Rob Walter, is he adding more value than Boucher? I think it's too soon to say whether he is or not. I gave Boucher some time before I started criticizing him. I gave him like at least a year before I started like having a go and saying things, etc. So I think it's a bit too soon for me to completely criticize him now. We will see after this World Cup, after this Australia series, and then after this World Cup, and then we can start having those discussions. At least when things go wrong or right, we now know who to praise or hold accountable, says Lawrence. Stubb should have been there. He would be cover for Marco and middle order. I know he's not ideal over cover for Marco, but you don't want a situation where, due to a tummy bug to our batsman, we have Marco batting at six. That is true. Sad to hear about Quenny's retirement, says Wakas. I think that's a bogus excuse from Coach Rao. You can't go to a World Cup with only one extra batter. What if two batters get a stomach bug, which is common in India? That means Janssen will bat at six. Agreed, Afzal. Me and you basically said the same thing about the stomach bug issue. We all know that's very common in India, so that's hardly a bad take. It's pretty realistic, to be honest. Yeah. So I asked about traveling reserves. There won't be any traveling reserves. So what I'm hoping, from my understanding of listening to it earlier on, to the presser earlier on, is that if needed and they need to fly someone up, they will fly someone up based on their form in the One Day Cup from the guys that they have obviously um, or they have highlighted as probably the top batters, um, or the next in line. So those guys will be like the Stubbses of the world, will be playing and getting their form in and keeping their form at a high level in the One Day Cup, so that if they get called upon, they can be called up as traveling reserves. But with only one top order batter around, we're gonna have to shift people out of position to accommodate that. So if something happens to Janssen or something happens to Miller or Klaassen, the bottom order, we don't have any replacements, which is a problem for me. You're gonna basically have to shift everybody down, maybe. Then you bring Riza in at three, for example, and then shift everybody down one. So that, and then Klaassen has to bat at six. So those are the type of things that I think is a little bit weird about the squad. I don't think it's as balanced as we would have maybe hoped. Seeing it that it's in India, you could have had someone that can bat and spin, or can give you extra overs, and someone that can bat a little bit higher, or who can bat in the bottom order. But the batting lineup, we are going in there very bare, with only cover for the top three. So it is a little bit of a concern for me. We better hope that nobody in the top three gets sick, or um, someone gets injured, which forces people to play in positions that are completely out of what they are used to, because that's going to be a serious issue. Let's continue.
Yeah, thanks, Lucy. Hi, guys. Rob, just on conditions in India at that time of year, the last World Cup in 2011, I think, was held in like March, April. This time you're going October, November. How much did that play a role in forming your selections for the squad? And in particular, what stood out about, when you made the selections that was informed by the conditions you are likely to face at that time of year?
Yeah, look, I think the sort of the thing with conditions, I suppose I've said it a fair number of times, is having been to India a fair bit, you realize that there is no one condition that you're going to be faced with. There's a real spectrum of conditions. I've no doubt that there'll be some directive around creating the best cricket wickets that they can to make sure that it's a spectacle. Maybe when South Africa plays India in Kolkata, we might see what the conditions are presented to us there. But for the most part, I think we're going to get really good cricket wickets, and then each ground has its own specific characteristics. So for me, it's not about having one specific way. It's not about being aware of one specific way, because I think you can get a varied number of conditions. So it's trying to have the bases covered. So look, at that time of the year, I would say it's cooler. It's only 30 on average, so it's cooler than what it can be at the end of an IPL season where it's 45 degrees. So the temperatures are okay to deal with. Obviously, all of them day-night games, a varied number of conditions. If I think of Mumbai at the Wankhede, you literally can get two different pitches on the same block with different clays, so that respond differently. So most importantly, we need to have our eyes open and be ready for what the conditions throw at us, and have a method ultimately compete and win games of
So
cricket.
a lot of us as fans, when we thought about the conditions, we automatically going to assume that um, this you're going to pick that it's going to spin, and you're going to have extra spinners, and you're going to play 3 spinners or 2 spinners, whatever the case may be. If by any chance we get a wicket where it is looking like it's moving around a bit, or it's looking like its pace is going to do the trick, because we do see in the IPL as well, particularly in those games that are at night, those pace bowlers like Anik Nokia, etc. Um, they tend to do very well in the IPLs if you have raw pace. So that could be the thinking. Um, but I do feel at the moment that we are better short in the squad. I've said that already. That it is a little bit of a problem. Um, so yeah, I think that's a bit of a interesting one. Um, that we don't have cover for that bottom order. Um, and we've gone with so many seamers. Maybe he thinks that having more seamers at your disposal, you can maybe turn things around for conditions, or you can pick according to whatever conditions is available to you, no matter what they throw at us. I don't know if that's the thinking, um, but I don't know if it was necessary to have even an extra seamer, or even an extra, perhaps even an extra like all round bowling all rounder. You could have picked maybe between Magala and a batter, or you could have picked maybe between Lungi or a batter, or you could have picked maybe between yeah, I think those are the two that probably are the ones that are probably the weakest selections of the rest. So it is an interesting one that they've gone this route, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Thanks. We will take a couple of follow-ups, but before we do, Firdous is just struggling to unmute, so I'm just going to read her question. What was the thinking behind 5 quicks, 6 with Marco, as opposed to an extra all-rounder or spin option, maybe even an extra batter?
Yeah, look, as we said, I don't believe that in a tournament you need an extra batter. We've got a backup batter in the group. I back all of them. They're very versatile as well. And if someone was knocked out through injury, then we certainly have the replacements to come to come in. In India, it's a fairly easy thing to replace a player overnight. So I didn't feel that we needed to carry an extra batter in the squad at the expense of a seamer. I think for us, as we said, we really want to have 4 high-quality fast bowlers on the park at most times. That's a strategy that cricket in South Africa has done well with. So it's being able to know that in a tournament such as we've got, where there's obviously times where there's gaps in between, you can manage the bowlers well, but then you've got 3 games in 6 days, and there might be a need for us to rotate our bowlers then. And then obviously games that's got significant travel in the last 3 back and forth. So being able to be in a position to know that we can pick 4 fast bowlers every time we play, that whoever those are, they are up to the mark and are going to play that the way that we want to play. So for me, that explained the balance of having 6 quicks there, 1 less batter.
Thanks. Heinz?
Okay, so there he's given his explanation. Yeah, so there he gives his explanation. 4 seamers. They want to be able to pick 4 seamers all the time, and with a travel schedule, and with certain with certain games back to back, they want to be able to rest some bowlers and then rotate them. So that's the reason for why they've gone with the extra bowler, not the extra batter. So I think we can obviously be concerned about that as fans. Lawrence saying 4 seamers on a dry and slow Indian surface. If we go into the World Cup by predominantly favouring pace, our bowlers are in for a long tournament. Lucknow, Chennai, Kolkata turns. Ideally, Stubbs could have been selected ahead of Lungi or some other fast bowlers. Stubbs did out bat Markram and Riza in the ODI Cup. He can also bowl and keep. Lorenzo says Coach Rob comes across like I can't laugh at Arteta because yeah, he beat us. Comes across like Mikel Arteta of the bottle job Arsenal. Both seems very stubborn in their approach, which can be determined fra- um, to our already fragile team. Coach is talking stupid. You can only replace when you leave injured players out of all the World Cup. You can't replace a player in squad only for 2 games, says Onain. We will be the only team that probably plays with 4 seamers, says Lorenzo. Unfortunately, playing in SA is not ideal before going to India. I hope that they prepare the pitches in a certain way to give a bit of preparation to our players. Yeah, let's continue with this. Um,
Thanks again, Lucy. Temba, Rob mentioned it, but previously, you have a very, very nice and experienced, bowling group actually to employ. You know them well and stuff. But just on Gerald, is he sort of like a nice infusion of youth for you, and a bit of pace as well, and variation. And just how have you experienced him, as an international? You've been working with him, for a bit, since last season.
Yeah, Gerald is he's a guy that's been within the team for the last couple of months, if not a year. I guess we've always had his sights on him. He obviously got the opportunity within the test stuff, and he really showed what type of an asset he can be there. We're obviously excited about the extra bit of pace that he comes with, but also that aggression that he plays with. So I mean that's something that we believe will complement our bowling attack quite well. In tandem with other aggressive guys in Andrich, in KG, and all those other guys. I think obviously he's quite young within his career. Um, I think what helps him is that he's a guy that's keen to learn, um, and he takes everything within his stride. So I'm sure he'll know that it will be a big experience, and also a big challenge for him. But I think his character is in the right place to deal best with everything that's to come his way.
Thanks. Next up, we've got Ken, then Zahir.
Thanks, Lucy. Rob, just following up on the all-rounder question. Um, I mean, you've got guys like Moko Janssen, Susanna Magala, KG, Keshav, who can all do a job for you in the lower order. But does your selection make the number 7 position really maybe the toughest one to select when it comes to, choosing an actual 11 without that sort of, genuine all-rounder?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the number 7 spot is key in one-day cricket, both be it in T20 but 50-over cricket as well. For me, it's assessing what the combined capability is of 7, 8, and 9, and their capability with the bat. Do they make up 2 batters? So if I look at
what?
Marco, we've seen him play some pivotal knocks at number 7 already, and he's only a guy who's getting better and better as far as his all-round capability goes. I think Sunday's value with the bat is sometimes undervalued. I think for the Lions, he's done it time and time again under pressure. And certainly that's something that we've been working tirelessly on is his batting capability. So if they were 7 and 8, and then our 9, 10, and 11, we've put a huge amount of emphasis on their batting and ability to contribute at the back end of our batting lineup. And then you also got guys like Gerald, whose batting capability, we saw a little bit of it in the T20. He's sort of got a great understanding of what the game requires from him. He's got a really good skill set, and certainly he's someone who will be looking to grow from an all-round capability point of view, because if you've got those guys and they can bat, and you want to bat down to number 9 or 10, it certainly lengthens the batting lineup significantly.
So did I hear correctly that he said that you're gonna have 7, 8, and 9 make up for 2 or for 1 performance? Is that what he said? I don't know if I heard that correctly now, but they kind of like collect or get the contributions that are going to add up for 1 contribution, basically. I mean, surely surely having someone that I can actually bat at 7 and score runs will outweigh having 2 or 3 players all combining to a total that's important. Um, I don't understand that. Like, that's something that I don't get really. Um, wow, that's something new. That's something I haven't heard before. Um, it, I'm trying to make sense of it as well at the moment. I'm quite shocked by that statement. Um, but when I look at the domestic scene and I look for a number 7 that can bat, there aren't many. Um, there aren't many that can do so. I think the answer would have been a lot better if they said we trust Marco Jansen's batting ability, and we believe that he can do a role for us, a significant role for us at 7. Look here, Magala is the type of batter that I do think is a little bit underrated. I've seen him come in and do some great things. Not for South Africa yet, but in domestic circuit, I've seen him come in and do some great things. So I do think that 7 and 8 having Marco, who can also pull off a good performance, and having him, Sisanda, the combined effort over there can be worthwhile. But I don't think it will be as worthwhile as having someone that can knock a quick 50 or knock a quick 40 at 7. I don't think that that's the case unless Marco can knock a quick 40 and do that job as a batter consistently throughout the tournament. Remember, we are playing everybody in this tournament. So you play a lot of games. So, yeah, it is a little bit weird, that one. Lawrence says 7, 8, and 9 will make up all the all-round position at 7, Khalid. Make it make sense. I don't understand that. Khalid, this is why the earlier show I said the squad was fitted for a tournament in Australia, not in the subcontinent. Yeah, to an extent. It depends what wickets, because look here, the ICC did say that they're going to try and make sporting wickets and equal wickets and not going to have it spinner friendly and all of those type of things throughout this tournament to create a good competitive equal tournament for all. But you can't force certain conditions to change within a country. So you can only make the pitches in a certain way so that when it does deteriorate, it doesn't deteriorate fast enough for it to change too much and become very spinner friendly. But yeah, I don't know, guys. That was a little bit of a weird one. I think that was a bit of a weird answer in my opinion, but that's my opinion, and it seems like a lot of you guys think so too. Coach Robbie's talking a whole lot of bull. Excuse my language, but this is getting ridiculous now. You will be left with egg on his face. Let's hope that there's no egg left on his face. Don't think he trusts his own number 7 pick then. With CSA, anything is possible. Why isn't Giddy in the squad? The average is nearly 50 with the ball for the last 2 years. I can't buy Rob Walder's logic, says Arvind. The more I hear about the talk, and the more I'm convinced that we should have had one coach in all formats. Shukri should have been there 7, 8, 9 as number 7. England have guys like Ben Stokes, Moeen Ali, Liam Livingston, Chris Wokes down the order. Even Mark soon whack the ball, man, and Walter SA have a long tail. He didn't say anything nonsense. It's deeper, the answer. He can't say in press conference that we don't have a proper all-rounder, even if Marco is good. That's why he's saying 7, 8, and 9 will make up for 7. I can understand the reasoning behind it to an extent for why he has to say that now that this team is this team would have been selected. This is the reason for the selection. Let's be honest here. 7 for Jansen, Magala, Maharaj, Kutsia, etc. At this stage of the international career is one position too high. Or people saying, hello, Khalid, I think they should have chosen better spinners. Do you think SA got better spinners than Maharaj and Shamsi? I think they're the most experienced and current spinners that we have. They, from an international standpoint, the only other option would have been Bjorn Fortuin. Because they clearly don't rate George Linda at the moment. When we were looking for a coach, I said Justin Langer was the perfect candidate for us because we needed someone who held players accountable, not this, Rob. There's no way Shukri would have made this mistake, says Lorenzo. I'm sorry, but the team has very little chance of making the top four. Would have done well to finish six, says Inkali. Um, I feel like I'm watching Spurs when Conte was about to. Gee whiz. Guys, can we this sounds like Arteta's press conference. Guys, can we your guys coming on today? I wanna believe in this. I wanna believe in this. I wanna believe in this team and I wanna back them. But yo, I mean some of the decisions, some of the things that have been said here, I'm trying to make sense of. Maybe this is showing my lack in cricket knowledge, maybe. I don't know, but that statement about the 7, 8, and 9, that didn't really sit well with me.
Thanks. We're going to take the last three questions, starting with Zahir.
Tim, Ken kind of asked my question, but just to rephrase that, when you don't have an all rounder in the way you guys want to play in terms of the positive brand of cricket, does it curtail you a bit, or are you still able to go as hard as you want to when considering the tail that you have?
I wouldn't say it curtails us. Something that, yes, we're aware of as a team, but I think maybe it just calls on a bit of smartness from us. But I think in approaching the games as the batters, I think it'll all be the same. We're always looking to be positive. We're always looking for opportunities to turn the game into our favor, and to really back our skill and our game sense to be able to do that consistently well over a period of time. So yeah, I don't believe that will curtail us as batters.
Thanks. Next up, Tienis. Then we'll look to wrap with Stu.
So they are aware. Yeah, so they obviously are aware that yeah, so they hi hi hi. So they obviously are aware that this all I can do is laugh actually. They are aware that we are lacking at obviously we have a long tail. So that means that's going to put a lot of pressure on our top order, top six. And Temba is obviously going to be confident and he's going to say that he's going to be confident about this and he's going to go into it. But it does worry me a bit because if we're going to use like Markram was said to be the third spinner by Rob in the previous, I wouldn't say interview, but whatever it was before when he announced the squad. And if that is the case, then you don't need that extra bowler. You can play an extra batter then. Because if they're going to utilize Markram like they say they're going to as a third spin, as a third spinner in the team, if they're going to play three spinners, or the second spinner in the team if they're going to play two spinners, then you could have an extra batter then. Ultimately, you don't have to have seven bowlers, complete bowlers in the team. So yeah, I'm baffled a little bit by that decision. I think we're all just a bit angry because there's no logic in what Rob is saying. Yes, of course, we'll back the boys, but I've watched the same movie for many years under Boucher and Otis, and it failed miserably, says Lorenzo. If CSA can't afford another coach to join the traveling party, we can start to GoFundMe to get Shukri over to India. And Matt's knowledge, really hope this works out for Rob, man. Because start to GoFundMe for me, guys. I wanted another back up batter so that we don't have a carry that senior guy who usually don't show up in the world event. New Zealand has Kyle Jameson back, but Michael Bracewell is huge loss for them. Um, hope CSO hope CSA will give chances to guys like Donovan Ferreira, Tristan Stubb, Devil Brevers, Matthew Bowes, Daniel Smith in the upcoming World Cup in 2027. I think that is the aim. It does seem to me that their true focus is on that 2027 World Cup and building players there. Guys, we can't even blame Victor anymore. Says Lorenzo. It will be hard for Markram to be the third spinner if we are bowling in and right with the dew around. It can get very dew heavy in India in October, November. Let's finish this press conference quickly.
Rob, we've just seen that Quinny's announced that he's going to retire from ODI cricket after the World Cup. Just firstly, your thoughts on that, and then secondly, Fido's also wrote a story now this morning about him wanting to play in the Big Bash and then maybe missing the 3 ODIs against India, and now having conversations with Cricket South Africa about it. How important is it for you guys to have him available for those games, especially in the lead up to next year's T20 World Cup?
I think yeah, dealing first with the issue of Quinny's retirement. I mean, a player himself knows when's the right time to step out. I mean, Quinny's been a magnificent player for South Africa in the 50 over format, and yeah, he's got some unfinished business, I know, for him from a World Cup point of view. So it's great to have his energy directed towards these 5 one-days and then a World Cup to follow. Yeah, and then we are living in an ever-changing world of cricket where the league space is strong and becoming more powerful. The pull on players to be available for national teams as well as league sides, and the inevitable clashing of those two, which is what we're seeing now. I mean, that's inevitable. It's happened already, and it will continue to happen, probably even more. So I think the most important thing is really managing that whole situation, trying to understand the players' needs, obviously the needs of the South African side as we lead up to a World Cup. I think the benefit of it is that whatever happens, our players will be playing T20 cricket and strong T20 cricket in the lead up to a World Cup. So yeah, there's a lot of water yet to pass under the bridge. And if we aren't malleable and flexible in the way we manage things, the inevitable endpoint is that players are going to leave the international game and follow the leagues, which is the last thing we want.
Thanks. Stu, if you don't mind finishing us off.
Thanks, Themba. You've been to a couple of World Cups, albeit in a different format. What were I guess, the lessons that you took away from those 2 tournaments? And I know there are difficult outcomes for South Africa. The lessons you took away from those 2 tournaments that you want to apply going to India.
Yeah, I think the two World Cups of the 2 World Cups that I've been a part of. So obviously the 2021 in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I think as a team we actually played quite well. I think looking at last year, I think it was probably a case of one blowout game for us as a team. Obviously being that last game, and I guess if there's a lesson to be learned from that, I guess would be to respect every game as it comes and make sure that you're in a mental space to turn up for the game and whatever challenges that come your way. I do think the challenge will be different with the 50 over side, at least with this 50 over World Cup. And like I said, I think our challenge, our focus will be to play good cricket for that 7 week period. Whatever that good cricket will look like, it'll be dependent on whatever the challenges that we come across in India. But I think that'll be our focus. And as they say, try take it game by game, day by day. We still have a couple of more days until then. And I think it'll just be to use the days that we have from today till I guess our first game is on the 7th to prepare ourselves as well as as well as we can. I think the other aspect to it, in a weird way, is to enjoy the experience. Being at the World Cup comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility, a lot of baggage as well. But I think in terms of enjoying and savoring all those moments, I think that's almost an underrated aspect of it all.
Okay, guys. So the only thing I can say, maybe to this spin a little bit of a positivity on this, because I saw a lot of negativity in the live chat today. There was some baffling things said, but I have to believe that Coach Rob and whoever was involved with the selection thought about this deeply, um, made the decisions that they made, and now that it's been made, um, I'm going to back the side. And I think all of us are a little bit angry because of maybe some of the decisions that were made. And I don't think that you guys won't back the boys 100%. But I'm just saying what I'm going to do is I'm going to back the guys 100% and put in all the support. But that doesn't mean that because I back them and I believe in the players that they're going to be able to do it, that if things go horribly wrong, that we're not going to criticize it, because that is what we're going to do. We criticize Boucher towards the end, and it's only fair that we keep that up. There could be some sort of something that we are not seeing, or intel that we don't have regarding the conditions in India, the pitches there at the different grounds, because I don't necessarily know every single conditions at every single ground in India at that time of year as well. So there might be a couple of tricks that we are maybe missing. I don't know, but we will have to wait and see how things go. The next focus now is the Australia series. We will be coming to you with a preview tomorrow for the Australia ODIs, and we can discuss what you'd like to see in the selection in that particular games. And we will be discussing that in the next show. If you guys want to know more about the squad and our thoughts on it, we did a show earlier on today at 11, which was a live watch along with the squad announcement. So please go and watch that show as well and smash the like button there too. But over here as well, now that you've watched it here, I also want you guys to please subscribe to this channel. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 4,000 before the World Cup starts. That can be a nice little aim for us all here. Otherwise, I'm hoping that we're going to hit it during the World Cup. But subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. What I also like you guys to please do is download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. We are busy on the next issue as we speak. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can get it right now. It's 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. I'd also like you guys to please go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates, reports, etc. and features. We do have that live for you, so you guys can go there and enjoy cricket content on a daily. And if you want to support us here at Cricket Fanatics Magazine, please become a patron today to make sure that we can keep this going. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching and tuning in. That was our reaction and our comments on the show. And I will see you guys again tomorrow with a preview show for the Australia series. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out, everyone.